Hello everybody, I am back with another video. This is our first video back from after a spooky season, which just wrapped up just a couple of days ago. Um, this is still going to be very much a fall recipe, but not necessarily like a spooky season recipe. It is an apple butter pie. I have not made this before. This is a recipe that I found online. I will link the recipe in the description box if you guys are interested in making this for yourself. Um, it sounded really good, really easy to make, and um, just decided to do this before jumping back into baking yesteryear. Like I said in my last spooky season video, I will be finishing up the chapter that we are in for baking yesteryear, which is the 1910s chapter. There's two recipes left in that chapter, the carrot pie and the divinity. So I will be doing those over the next couple weeks. After that, I do have a couple cake recipes that I am planning on sharing with you guys to finish out November. And then in December, I am going to kind of do like I did during October, except it's going to be more Christmassy, holiday themed recipes. I do have a few Christmassy cookbooks that I'm definitely looking forward to getting into. One is brand new that I haven't made anything out of. One I've had for a while but still haven't made anything out of. And the other one I've had for a little while and made a couple recipes out of, but not a lot. So I am excited to explore some of those new kind of Christmassy themed videos with all of you guys um, and everything. But until then, today we are doing the apple butter pie. Like I said, it's one I have not done before and super excited to try. It sounded really good, kind of perfect for fall and everything. So let's get started. All right, so for our pie, we have a pie crust here. Now, the recipe did give a recipe to make a pie crust. I did not do that. This is just a store-bought pie crust um, that I have in my pie plate. This was just easier than making a homemade crust. It saves a little bit of time. You could definitely make the pie crust from the recipe if you wanted to. Usually we will just get the already bought in pie crust just because it is easier than making a homemade one, but that would be something that is completely up to you, whatever you prefer. Um, so the filling is going to be made out of apple butter, sweetened condensed milk, a little bit of vanilla, some eggs, and then we got some spices in here. In here, there is cinnamon, nutmeg, and cloves. Um, and that's all going to be for the filling for the pie. There is also a topping on the pie, which we are going to use some oatmeal, brown sugar, white sugar, flour, cinnamon, and some butter. And this is everything that we do need for the entire pie. So let's get started. The first thing I am going to do is get my pie ready for a blind bake. And I also have to turn my oven on. Oops. Um, when my oven is preheated, we will get the pie crust in there for our blind bake. All right, so I got my pie crust ready for the blind bake. The recipe did say to put the pie crust on a baking sheet, which is a little bit different than what I normally do when I blind bake my pie crust, but I'm going to give it a try, see how it does. I do have my pie crust lined with foil, and then I got my pie weights in it. I will get this popped into the oven as soon as my oven is ready. Um, if you don't have pie weights, you can always use dried beans to weight down your pie crust. That is what we used to do before I got my pie weights. I do say, you gotta say, the pie weights are really nice. Definitely worth having if you do like making pies. Um, they just last a little bit longer than the dried beans. You can reuse them. and everything, and just something that is definitely worth having. They're fairly inexpensive. Um, Depending on the kind you get, they can be kind of pricey, but these, I think, were maybe $5 or $10. I picked them up at an Ace Hardware store, um, which is kind of an unconventional place, but they have worked really good. I know some of the pie weights can be 15, $20 or even more. It just depends on what you want to spend. For me, the the cheaper priced ones have worked just fine. They do come in a nice little container to keep them in, and it's just has been really nice to have on hand for when we do need to blind bake a pie crust. Which, if you're unfamiliar with blind baking, so this crust is going to cook a little bit, but not going to be completely cooked. Um, After this is cooked a little bit, we are going to remove the pie weights, put in the filling and the topping, and then bake it some more. Um, so for now, I am going to set this aside, and we're going to move on with our next steps. And I will be back. All right, so while I'm waiting on my oven and my pie crust, I'm going to make the topping. So we're going to start with adding the oatmeal, the cinnamon, the flour, and the sugars. I am using regular old-fashioned oats for this. You don't want to use like the quick cooking or like instant or anything, just the regular old-fashioned oatmeal. I am going to get this mixed up, and then I'm going to add in the butter, and it's going to form kind of like, I don't, not quite like a streusel topping, but close, similar to a topping of what you would normally find on like apple crisp if you make it. And so let me get this mixed up, and I will be back. All right, so I have that all mixed up. For the topping, I am going to add the butter and get that mixed in. When I have that done, I will show you what it looks like. All right, so I have the butter all mixed in. This looks really good. It looks like it's going to kind of be a cross between a streusel topping and like a crisp topping. Um, it smells super good. I love the smell of cinnamon. It smells like fall. I am super anxious to give this a try. Um, so while um, I am still waiting for my oven to finish preheating, and I will still have to blind bake the pie crust. While I am waiting for all of that, let's get started on the filling. This way, when the pie crust is done, we can just finish assembling the pie and pop it in the oven to finish baking. All right, so to start with the filling, we are going to mix together the apple butter, the sweetened condensed milk, and the eggs. My apple butter is a little bit dark because I accidentally bought apple butter that was spiced with cinnamon and cloves instead of just the regular plain apple butter. But since there is already cloves going into this filling, it's going to be good. It's not going to hurt the recipe or anything like that. But that is why my apple butter is a little bit darker than it normally is. Um, when I get this mixed up, we are going to add the vanilla and the spices, and I will be back. All right, so that's all mixed up. I did add my vanilla and the spices, and I am getting that mixed up right now. I gotta say, this smells really good. It smells like fall. I love the combination of spices that are in here. It just gives a nice fall vibe to it. And I cannot wait to give this a try. This does look like it is all mixed up. I am just waiting for my pie crust to finish blind baking. It is almost done, just a couple minutes left. When that is done, I will take the pie weights out and get the pie assembled and stick it back in the oven to finish baking. All right, so my pie crust is finished with the blind bake. I am going to put the filling and the topping on and pop this back in the oven. When it is done and cooled a little bit, I will give it a try. All right, so I've got the filling and the topping in my pie crust. I'm going to pop this in the oven. It does have to bake a little while. After it is done baking, I will be back. All right, so I did just take the pie out of the oven. It looks really good. It smells really good. Um, this does have to cool a little bit. It says to let it cool down to room temperature. So after it is cooled, I'm going to have a piece, and after that, I will be back with my final thoughts.
All right, so I am back with my thoughts on the apple butter pie. I really liked it. I thought it was really good. I will probably be making this for Thanksgiving from now on. It had a very good fall flavor to it. It was super easy to make, and just really good. It was still a little bit warm yet when I tried it, so it wasn't completely set up yet. Um, but even with that, it was still really good. Um, I definitely recommend giving it a try. Um, like I said earlier in this video, I will be linking the recipe for this online because it was, or in the description, because it was a recipe that I found online. If you are interested in trying it, I definitely recommend clicking on that link and making this for yourself. Um, Next week, I will be back with the carrot pie from baking yesteryear, which I am really excited to try as well. I've never had carrot pie. I've honestly never even heard of carrot pie before. So that will be an interesting recipe to try. Um, so make sure you are subscribed, like the video if you liked it, comment below if you've had apple butter pie, and what you thought of it if you did. And until next time, good times, good food.